Hi everyone! So today I wanted to sit down and touch base with you guys. I want to address why my videos have been really inconsistent for the past few months because as you guys know, my sister and I were doing a lot of home makeover projects like her bedroom and the kitchen, and I wasn't able to make a lot of videos, and then we had to rearrange a bunch of stuff in the basement to have a wood stove put in. And then there was my sister's schedule changing, and because she works so late, she can only be in videos on the weekend, and we have tried filming on the weekend, but the footage just hasn't turned out right. I haven't been happy with it, and also the weather here hasn't been great for a little while now because it's hurricane season, which, you know, I'm so grateful that we haven't gotten any major hurricanes, but obviously the weather from the hurricanes does affect it here. So it's been really windy and rainy, and the sun barely comes out, so I can't film a lot of videos. That is part of the reason, but there's also kind of more to that I wanted to talk about that I haven't mentioned before, and I thought I would kind of open up to you guys about it because maybe some of you are dealing with some of the same things, and maybe this will help you feel less alone. And, you know, if not that, just an explanation of why my videos can kind of come in fluxes and flows. So the past year and a half, basically since I started my YouTube channel, has been really rough for me, mental health wise. My self-esteem and how I'm feeling overall has kind of taken a hit, a massive hit. And that's not to say this entire time I've been miserable or anything like that. I just have been struggling more than usual since I was 9, since even before my mom was diagnosed with cancer. I can just remember going through bouts of, I guess, depression, where I basically feel the life gets sucked out of me, and I feel really numb, and even things like dolls or you know, drawing or animals, they just don't affect me the way they usually would. I just feel really caught up in my own head and unmotivated and uninspired, and it's hard for me to focus on anything. And I even had trouble making this video for that reason. This is my 3rd attempt making it because I'm just having so much trouble focusing my energy on something this past week. And it comes and goes, and you know, it's pretty normal for me. I'm just an emotional person anyways. When I feel something, I feel it, and it's kind of all I see is how I'm feeling, whether if I'm anxious or I'm sad or I'm angry or I'm happy. And obviously I want to make videos when I'm happy and when I'm feeling inspired and when I'm seeing things with clarity, because I want the people watching my videos to feel good when they watch them. So when I'm not feeling that way, I shy away from filming, and I just don't really like talking and you know, being in front of the camera when I'm feeling that way. While I've had really bad bouts of it, which were inflamed by things that were going on in my life, losing my mom, or you know, when I was 17, 18, that was the worst of it for me, right before my dad got sick. While those were really episodes were kind of shaped by my environment and what was going on in my life, sometimes I just feel that way for no reason. It's not anything bad has been happening the past few weeks to make me feel this way. It just happens. I just get caught up in my own head. It's not super serious or anything. I just feel really unmotivated, and it's harder for me to get stuff done, especially a hobby like YouTube. And it's really frustrating for me personally, especially because I feel I'm letting you guys down. But again, I don't want to upload something I'm not proud of. That being said, since I started my YouTube channel, a kind of a series of smaller things and bigger things have kind of played out in my life that have affected how I feel about myself. And I was doing really well in 2014 and 2015, and that's kind of where the whole idea for 1,000 Splendid Dolls came from, was from that really good time in my life when I was figuring a lot of stuff out. And then when 2016 hit, a bunch of things that happened, and in 2017 things kind of continued to go downhill. And it's not anything major, in the grand scheme of life, it's all little. I mean, if you have your health and the people in your life are okay, then that's all that really matters, and I know that, but I don't handle stress well. And I've mentioned this before, but like little things stress me out. Like something like making a phone call can get me so stressed out and anxious to the point where I have trouble like hearing and understanding and like focusing on the situation. Like I get that stressed out over stupid little things. Right when I started my YouTube channel, the catalyst of it all, as I like to say, is that my old Jeep that I've had since I was 17, that I learned to drive in basically, the transmission died and it had like a million things wrong with it, so it just made sense to sell it and get like a different vehicle that ran. And that was really hard for me because, you know, that was like letting go a piece of my life. My dad had bought me that, and he and I had made so many memories there, and like the year we got back into collecting dolls, Colleen and I, my dad would always take us out in my Jeep, and I just had all these like fond last memories with him. In addition to, like, that was my safe place when I wasn't collecting dolls, because there was like a 5-year period of time I wasn't, and I had to drive to cosmetology school an hour away, and like being alone in the Jeep with like the music that I wanted to listen to and just being able to like cry or like sing along, it was really therapeutic for me, and that was like a huge thing to let go of. And it sounds silly, but it was like kind of like letting go of my dad and really saying goodbye in a way. And as much as like I was excited for like a new chapter to begin, it was really sad like kind of finally closing that door and realizing like that, you know, it was really over and done with. I handled that situation okay, but then after that, like when I got the Jeep I have now, which is just as old, it's about 20, there was just like a lot of like problems with that, and that made me have to depend on other people. Like Colleen would have to get rides to work, and I would have to get rides to the farm, and I would have to ask my uncle to look at this and that was wrong with it. And relying on other people makes me feel really, really guilty, to the point where like I will cry about how guilty I feel, and I basically got into the state of like self-loathing over it. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like accept gifts from you guys, because I just feel guilty when people do things for me. I really do. Like, I'm not BSing when I say that. I really truly just, I don't know. I don't know why I'm like that. I just am. And that's where it all started. And then from there, it was just like, you know, there'd be a problem with the house, or a problem with the Jeep, or a problem with my sister's work, or, you know, we'd think we'd have one situation figured out, and then 2 bad things would happen to kind of cancel out the progress we made. So it was kind of like walking on this constant treadmill, and my sister had a lot of stuff going on at work that was really stressful for her, and that made me feel bad for her. It's just basically been like a lot of little things that on their own would have seemed kind of not a big deal, but when they're all kind of piled up one after the other, it gets exhausting. And as someone who doesn't handle stress well, I just felt really defeated. And, you know, there would be points where I would feel better, and I would feel like I can do this, you know, I'd feel really motivated, and I would be able to put out a lot of videos. And then I'd go through bouts of time where it would kind of get the best of me. And I think the weather's kind of getting the best of me now. Like, honestly, like, sun makes a huge difference for me. When there's not sun, or I'm not outside a lot, it really affects my mood, and that's why I get kind of gloomy in the winter. That's affected my videos, and I'm sorry. And I'm really hoping that Oliver, I'm really hoping that this next like kind of year, next like bit of time, like this is a turning point. I'm really hoping that things kind of even out a bit, and at least I was hoping. And then my Jeep started steaming and leaking yesterday, and I'm not going to have a vehicle until Tuesday. But I'm actually not like really upset about it. It's actually a little bit humorous, the show it put on. But I'm just hoping that things can kind of get sorted out, and that when like my things in my life kind of feel like they're evening out, and Colleen and I kind of have more balance with our schedule, I'm hoping that I'll feel more inspired to make videos more regularly. It's not that I don't want to, because I think all the time of different ideas I want to do, and I'll get really excited, but like if I don't jump on that like feeling of inspiration and excitement in that moment, then it's kind of like it just goes to the back burner. Because Colleen and I had some like really cool ideas that we were really excited about that just haven't come to fruition yet, because that's how I am. I'm very like all or nothing. And when I'm feeling happy, am almost like high off of my happiness. I see things with clarity. I'm feeling really inspired and motivated, and I'll crank out like a bunch of videos. As you could probably tell, like back in like June, July, I was like uploading a lot because I had all my Bratz collection videos and things. Honestly, my motivation for that got a little bit crushed because I just find like whenever I upload collection videos, there's just a lot of negativity that comes with that. And you guys wouldn't see it because all my comments are set to approval, but I have never in my life gotten so much negativity on the internet except from like when I was uploading my Bratz collection videos. I mean, it was not like anything like to write a novel about, but it was, for me, it was like really bad, especially because I was just starting to feel like better about myself at the time. And then there was just all of this like negativity, and like some of it wasn't just, you know, like the usual people complaining about like me talking too much in the videos, or, you know, like people saying, oh, you're too old for dolls, or you have too many. I mean, that's like the expected, that stuff doesn't bother me, but it was, people were taking it to like a personal level and like saying things about like my parents or about Colleen, and there was like a moment in that like feeling upset about it that like I was ready to delete my channel, because it's not so much that like one person's mean comment would affect me that deeply. It's more, I'm the sort of person where I'm sensitive, so I know if something is stressing me out, why should I subject myself to it, kind of thing. And I guess because I was like filming every day and spending, basically calling summer vacation, making videos for you guys instead of doing something just for us, I was really like frustrated by that. And when people were like taking it next level rude, some people, I don't even think they realized how rude they were being, but, you know, it definitely did not make me feel motivated to make videos. And were it not for, like, 90% of wonderful people who come to my channel and who get it and who are super sweet and supportive and, like, you know, way, like, more awesome than I ever would have imagined. If it weren't for you guys, I would have just deleted my video and been my channel and been done with it, because like that's just how I get when people stress me out. That's part of why I never had like a lot of friends or anything, because when something stresses me out, I just want to get away from it, and that's probably not the best way to handle it, but that's my logic. Ever since then, I kind of haven't really been like wanting to make a lot of collection videos or anything, just because it attracts a lot of negativity. And I enjoy filming them, I really do, but like I put sometimes like 10 hours into making one because of like the editing and setting up and, you know, getting ready for it and needing the right lighting. It's a lot of work, and so I guess from my standpoint, I felt like I was putting a lot of work into it to get a lot of backlash. It's kind of silly because when I look at it now, it's like 90% of the people were like really nice about it, and it was just that 10% that weren't. But it's easy to focus on the negative stuff, and that's like a me thing that I need to work on. You know, I'm not invincible, and me being sensitive and like being analytical is like my greatest gift and my worst curse in life, because it affects me positively because I can like see like myself and what I'm doing and analyze and make changes, but then I also get caught up in my own head sometimes, and that's not good either. I really hope to just sort it out and get back into like uploading more regularly, like more than once a week, because, you know, I have the time because Colleen works longer hours now, so I'm not like back and forth as much. I have the time to do it, it's just like finding the motivation, and obviously the lighting's been an issue, so please just bear with me, and I'm really sorry, but I'm okay, and I don't want anyone like worrying or, you know, stressing out about it. This is just pretty normal for me. I just wanted to be honest because I know a lot of people do deal with it, and you know, it is really easy to like just tell people like, you know, be happy, you know, anxiety's not a thing, like you have full control, and like to a point, yes, you can control how you feel or like how you perceive a situation, but sometimes like what's in your head is just, you know, it overrides that. And, you know, I'm a very firm believer in, like, if you try to approach a situation with a positive attitude, and if you try to make your life beautiful, and you try to see past the flaws and see the good things, that you can be happier. I am a firm believer in that. Obviously, like, I can't control when I get like this, and all I can do is, like, wake up each day and hope, like, to feel better, and, like, kind of just plow through it and get through. Just know you're not alone if you feel that way. With that being said, I also want to clear up that, like, my dolls don't hold me back in life. It's kind of come up like in some of the comments before. I think people misinterpret my like all-in obsession with them as like being unhealthy, that my dolls basically prevent me from having like a normal social life or prevent me from like doing other things. They're holding me back in some way. They're really not. If anything, the reason why I have this channel in the first place and the reason why comments like that kind of frustrate me is because what I'm trying to say is that if you're true to yourself, regardless of what other people say, by me being true to myself and pursuing dolls as a hobby, it changed my life. And they gave me confidence and, you know, self-love and inspiration and motivation. They were like the best kind of therapy for me in the entire world. Like, they were better than any like medication or anything I could have taken or any kind of therapist, because they helped me from within and find that within myself. I've just always been like a non-adventurous person. I have always been like quiet. I've always been like not super interested in making friends because I'm asocial. I just don't really need other people around me to feel like stimulate me. I mean, not that I don't get lonely, everyone does, but I'm just not that kind of person. People have always tried to change me. People have always tried to get me to, like, you know, go with them to school dances or join this club or move out of my dad's house and live in the city. And like, I appreciate that people are just concerned and they think that I'm unhappy because I'm kind of a hermit or because I have a bunch of dolls and I, you know, am very obsessed with them. But that's just who I am. And like, people are different, and I don't have any regrets in my life about like not traveling or not having more of a social life. Like, that's just not who I am. And if I wanted to change, then I definitely would. My dolls definitely wouldn't hold me back. They've definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. Just making YouTube videos is something I never would have imagined I would do, because I hate how I sound. I hate the sound of my voice. I hate like staring at myself on camera, and I hate that like finality of like you put yourself out there in video and people can just like dissect what you say and you can't go back and like edit the video and change what you've said. So it's a big fear of mine that my dolls kind of help me push through. And that being said, it can be hard when I'm like this to film and edit, because I tend to be harder on myself, because I fixate on like, oh, this wasn't perfect, or oh my god, you're so annoying, Shelly. So it is harder for me too, because I have actually filmed quite a few things and just not uploaded them and just deleted them for that reason. And you know, if anyone tells you that like you need to do something to experience life or to be happy, like, we all have a different interpretation of like life and the meaning of it and what makes us happy, and I definitely don't think everyone should collect dolls and that will give everyone happiness. I think it's just a matter of knowing yourself and listening to your own instinct and your own guts. I hope you guys don't mind. We will try to film the house tour this weekend. I can't go anywhere, no flea market because of my Jeep. So hopefully if the lighting is good, which it's supposed to be nice out, we can film that for you. I have like a bunch of pictures scanned on my computer and everything. Like, I'm going all out for this. So it's probably going to be in 2 parts. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being understanding, and thank you ahead of time to the people who always are so supportive and understanding. Ivy says hi. Until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.